There you go.
I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Village of Carpentersville Village Board. Kelly, please call roll.
Trustee Lawrence. Here. Trustee Rayberg.
Here.
Trustee Savi.
Here.
Trustee Schultz. Here. Trustee Burroway.
Here.
Trustee Humfer. President Skillman.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and also remain standing for the invocation by Dexter Ball.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with humble hearts and thanksgiving. And Father, we just pray, Lord God, for our village board meeting tonight, that you would just have your will to be done in this place. And Father, we just pray for the success of our village and for all the departments and the management and for all those that labor in this village, Lord. We pray your protection. We pray your covering, your guidance, your leading. And so tonight, Lord God, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And we surrender to you. And we give you thanks in your name. Amen.
Okay, proclamations. We have one tonight. We have honoring Gary Chester. If Mr. Chester, please, if you could come up. Gary and I have worked together for several years with Chief Kilborn and new fire chief and Mr. Deputy Chief too. Also, he's worked together. We've done tabletops and we've gotten along and had a lot of good times and made sure our schools are safe. So Gary's done a great job in District 300. Just so let me read through this real quick, please, and then get you. All right. Whereas Community School District 300, along with the community, has had the privilege to have Gary Chester serve as Director of District Security for the last 7 years. And whereas the Director of the District Security, Chester has worked closely with all the villages, fire departments, police departments, safety personnel to ensure the safety of District 300 students and staff. And whereas due to Director and District Security's Chester's diligence, each school has a double set of doors in every building and a protocol for screening visitors. In addition, District 300 has a comprehensive emergency plan for every situation, including reunification of students and parents. And whereas the Director of District Security, Chester, was instrumental in developing a no bully policy, no gang policy, including contracts for students and their parents. And whereas Director of District Security, Chester, has been an asset to the community and the district staff and students he has served for the years, many years. So now, therefore, be it a resolution that I, John Skillman, the President of the Village of Carpentersville, do hereby proclamate June 14, 2017 as Gary Chester Day in recognition of his dedicated service to District 300 and the community he served. School District 300, along with the community, wishes Director and District Security Chester all the best in his retirement today, June 6, 2017. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank the village, and I want to thank the police and fire departments for their commitment to school safety. We have a very, very strong partnership with your first responders and the village, and it goes a long way in protecting our staff and students. And I've dealt with many, 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 many police and fire departments over my 45 years in the business, and I can tell you, your police and fire department are second to none in its service to its public and its response to the schools. So, gentlemen, when you go back to your departments, please thank the firefighters and the police officers for us. They truly are responsive to school safety. So thank you very much for that partnership, John. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just have a question. On the active shooter, we worked on that a lot. Did we ever get the cameras into the command vehicles or anything like that?
Yes, we did.
From the schools?
We got cameras tied into the into the police departments itself. We've given them access not only to Carpentersville schools, but the Algonquin schools and vice versa for Algonquin police. But yes, thank you very much, John.
Yeah, so if we're responding, obviously we can see what's going on inside the school. So at the command post. So it's great.
Great partnership. We've been able to develop things to make schools safer. So we do appreciate the partnership. Thank you.
Well, thank
it's very,
you.
very important, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, John. Thank
See
you.
ya. Thank you. Next item on the list, we have appointment confirmations and administrative oath. An appointment of Sam Gupta to the Village Business Development Commission. Sam, it's you can come up so everybody can see who you are. Sam has been a village resident for 12 years, and he's very active in business development. He actually is owner of a Best Western, a Days Inn, a Holiday Inn Express, and a Subway around the country. So he's very astute at that. So he's going to help us out a lot with our committee. So we're excited to have you, and thank you. So
President Skillman, you do need a motion for the board to consent to your appointment, and second, and then a voice.
I'll make that motion.
Pat,
I'll
made
second.
motion. Jeff, second. Voice vote. Anybody? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah.
Motion passes. Any public comment, Kelly?
None.
Okay, so a consent agenda is our next item. All items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on those items unless a trustee so requests, in which the event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Are there any items to be removed at this time? No items move. Can we have a motion, please?
I'll motion.
Kevin
I'll second.
and Pat second. And roll call, please.
Trustee Rayberg?
Yes.
Trustee Sabi?
Yes.
Trustee Schultz?
Yes.
Trustee Burroway?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Approval of minutes, a regular board meeting from May 16, 2017.
That was part of your consent agenda, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Manager officers.
Okay, next we have the managers, officers, commissions, and staff reports.
We have one item tonight, Village President. Kevin Gray is going to give a update on the Carpenter Creek Restoration Project and what that means to businesses and homeowners with flood insurance. Kevin?
Correct. Thank you, Manager Rooney. First off, I just want to give an update on the letter of map revision for Carpenter Creek. Wanted to point out all the agencies we had to work with. The United States Environmental Protection Agency, the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, Cane DuPage Soil Water Conservation District, Jelkes Creek Fox River Watershed Coalition, and our contractors, HR Green and Applied Ecological. I want to go over basically a timeline of this project. It started back in 2010. Carpenter Creek is a Zone A floodplain, and here's an exhibit of what the Zone A floodplain means. It starts at Spring Street and runs north all the way up to Lake Marion Road, just past Oak Ridge Road. So that's the zone. That's the area that we're talking about. That's the Zone A floodplain. A Zone A floodplain, it's a 100-year floodplain that's delineated using an approximate method. That pretty much means that there's no engineering study that's been completed. There's no base flood elevations. And it's a zone that has the highest flood insurance premiums. In July of 2010, a Phase 1 engineering study was approved and initiated for this section of the Carpenter Creek. And there was about 5 main objectives. The first one was to establish base flood elevations and delineate the floodplain limits, improve stormwater conveyances, improve water quality through bank stabilization and native plantings, and identify future projects that could potentially remove structures as well as properties from the floodplain. And last but not least, at the request of the village manager, alleviate flooding issues along Maple Avenue As you recall, we were in the process of doing a Phase 2 engineering for Maple Avenue, and in front of the cross-container property, it was proposed that there was going to be a ditch. Basically, today this is where the bike path sits, and we didn't want to do that, so that's why we kind of looked at remapping this floodplain and putting some of those flows into Carpenter Creek. So after we did the Phase 1 study, the actual area outlined in red is the actual floodplain. And that kind of, if you remember, at Maple Avenue in front of Stanley, we always saw flooding in the winter when the ground was frozen. We got a lot of rain. It would actually puddle up and actually kind of flow right past Stanley. So the HR Green did a good job of kind of representing the floodplain. So we knew we couldn't go with that without doing any capital improvements, because that actually would put more properties in the floodplain if we didn't do anything at all. In August of 2012, we did a Phase 2 engineering study, which commenced at Carpenter Creek Reach 2. Reach 2 is the area north of Maple Avenue, approximately 1,200 feet to the north is Reach 2. And that was identified in the Junkies Creek Watershed Coalition. December 2012, the Fox River Watershed Plan was approved by the IEPA, which included Carpenter Creek Reach number 2. And what this meant was that we were now eligible, since we had a watershed plan. One of the requirements or criteria for getting an IEPA Section 319 grant was you had to have a watershed plan. So we were now eligible to actually apply for grants. In March of 2013, the Audit and Finance Commission recommended extending the project limits further than the 1,200 feet, so almost 1,200 feet, 1,200 additional feet, to about 2,400 feet north of Maple Avenue, and to apply for the 319 grant. In June of 2013, HR Green did a preliminary design and submitted a grant application to the IEPA. As a result, the village received the IEPA Section 319 grant in the amount of $628,000, or approximately 55% of the construction cost. In July of 2014, the village approved a design-build contract with HR Green for the construction service in the amount of $1.1 million. During the process, became aware that the creek was not, we didn't have jurisdiction over the creek, as it was entirely located on private property. So village staff had to acquire 13 permanent and temporary easement agreements with 12 property owners, I believe. Believe it or not, the entire creek, as it is located today and previously, is pretty much located on the cross containers property. So without them working with the village, we probably would have never been able to even do this project. So we're very thankful to Cross Container, as well as all the residents, the other 11 residents on Sedgwick Street. Construction commenced in the fall of 2012 and was substantially completed in the spring of 2016. So there's, you can kind of see a before and then the after of the creek improvements. In October 2016, we did our field survey, got all the actual elevations FEMA requires once the project was completed, and we submitted a LOMAR, or a letter of map revision, to FEMA in order to revise the regulatory floodplain.
Kevin, can you go back to that last picture of the property, please?
That one.
Can you talk about that fence for the residents? Is that part of this?
Cross containers fence?
Yes.
Yeah, as part of the project, we kind of after the project, we worked with Cross Container, and we installed trumpet vine on the chain link fence. It was an agreement with Cross Container. So I got a picture this spring. The first year that they planted it, it didn't really take. We had them come out and replant it, and I got some pictures of it. Applied Ecological went back out and surveyed the plant, and they say they are growing. So hopefully trumpet vine takes I don't know, Pat, I know you have some history with
Yeah,
it,
it
but I want
takes
to
a
say
little
probably,
bit, but
yeah,
once it takes hold,
yeah,
you need
3
a
to 4
machete
years, I'd say.
to beat it back, yeah.
So it'll be a barrier for the
Yeah.
people on
Correct.
Charles.
Yeah, there'll
and-
be we wanted to make a natural screening, basically, for the residents along Brook Street. We also did another agreement with Cross Container, constructed a berm on their property and put some evergreen trees and some native oak trees and hackberry trees on there, too. On May 31st, last week, we received official communication from FEMA that our LOMAR has been approved. However, the new map won't be in effect until October 5th of this year. And that is the actual new map that is the regulatory floodplain. It says draft on there, but that's because they sent it to H.R. Green and myself just as one final review to make sure that we were okay with everything. So as you can see, it's we used to have, it's kind of hard on here, but the floodplain used to go around Cross Container, and now it's all entirely contained within the creek. Our next steps, we're going to send letters out to all the property owners affected that were in the Zone A floodplain, and to notify them about the revisions and how to proceed with their mortgage companies. If they have any questions, we can work with them. Basically, what I just said, working with them to try to reduce or get rid of their flood insurance premiums. However, as a floodplain manager, we always want them to have a limited liability. There's a preferred risk premium that you can get. So it's about anywhere from about $200 to $400 versus a full-blown flood insurance policy, which some of the residents that I've spoken to on Sedgwick were paying about $5,000 annually. So
On top of their other insurance?
Yeah.
Wow.
correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge savings.
That's
for
on
them.
the high end. On the average one, it depends on when the property owner purchased the house.
Yeah.
But on average, it's about $1,800. But there was one resident that was paying
Wow. That'll
close
be
to
a big
$5,000.
savings. Yeah.
And last but not least, per our grant agreement with the IPA, we have to continue to do the operation and maintenance of the creek for a period of 10 years. That's all I have. If you have any questions?
And Kevin, you're going to be available for any of the homeowners or businesses that have specific questions, because there's a lot of detail between the homeowner, business owner, and their mortgage provider, if they have one, and how that insurance and getting it straight.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So we'd like to say it's all done, but there's still
It's not all
individual
done. It's-
homeowners
yeah.
and business owners will still have issues to deal with their bank or their mortgage.
Correct. You could, for instance, you could be completely out of the floodplain, and there could be a mortgage company that says, well, but you're close to the floodplain, so we're going to require it. And at that point, the village can't do anything, but we can say, refinance your mortgage and go to a different mortgage company that says you're going to be out of the floodplain, because it might be cheaper in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
But those are all questions that we'll reach out to residents and inform them on our letter.
And for the public, Kevin Gray is Assistant Public Works Director, Village Engineer, and is located at Tamarack at the Public Works Building. And Michelle will set up a time and appointment if you have questions.
I just had a comment. As far as my being the representative from Jelke's Creek for this board, just wanted to say I got quite a bit of compliments over the process, during the process and after the process, about how nice it looked and everything like that. And it was done properly. Obviously, we won an award for it, and I presented that to Jelke's Creek too. And I just want to express the value that we have at Jelke's Creek for being involved in all of this with the village of Carpentersville. And that value I expressed to them for being such a backer of ours through this process and perhaps for future processes, as in Keith Andrews
Andre,
Park.
sure.
So I just wanted to tell you that it really fine job. Can't believe that it's done, basically.
Yep.
And, and the way to help the homeowners out, that is just incredible.
Yeah, and it's a team effort. It's not one
Absolutely.
person. It's
Sure.
village board. It's all the other agencies, the
Sure.
consultants, staff. I mean, it's been
Yeah, bring all that together is quite complicated, and it takes a lot of finesse.
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Do we have any more reports?
That's all in report tonight.
Okay, commission reports. Pat?
Just a little bit here, John. Our special events meeting was held on May 17th. We focused mainly on the community yard sale, which is going to be June 24th, 9 to 4. Again, submission forms are up on the website, and we're looking forward to it. We have it kind of remapped out. It's a kind of in a segregated area this year because of the grass seeding, but I think we'll be able to accommodate pretty much everyone if we have the attendance like we did last year. Then we discussed a little bit on the Civil War reenactment, which is August 5th and 6th. And then the committee agreed to go ahead and start putting together plans and approved having like a fall festival. And we've got a tentative date of October 14th. But we're just in the beginning stages of even talking about it, so we'll be planning that, and I'll be giving you updates as we move forward. We also had a discussion about having a one-day or an afternoon Winterfest also. But again, we need to discuss it and plan it out, so I'll keep everybody posted. There'll be 3 movies in the park this year. Adam Partridge's H2O Church has been doing it, as you know, and he gave me the dates. The Lego Batman movie will be July 7th. The Disney Moana movie will be July 21st. And he's got one more movie, he said, to be announced August 11th. So they'll be hosting that this year also in the park. Trustee Lawrence attended. She had several suggestions from residents for other events. And Director Cole had a great suggestion that the committee schedule a meeting maybe outside of our regular meeting to start talking about these ideas and moving forward with them. As I've said, and I just mentioned to John too, and I said at the meeting, we've for 3 years now, well, we'll see what happens with the park. We're done with it now. The park is done, and now the doors are open, and I think we can start planning some really great events and some different things there. So it's kind of exciting. Rock the Fox is moving along with their planning. Sounds like they're going to piggyback with the car show, and I think it's of course they had so many entries for their band lineups, they literally had to cut off. They just didn't have enough time, which means outside interest now. People are calling them and want this to be a place where they can play. So, of course, they'll have a carnival, their beer garden. And then I also wanted to mention, I met with Dave Peterson and Helen Shoemate and John Seidenzahl. I hope I didn't mangle that. He's a recreation director at Dundee Township Park District. I had talked to them about, they have concerts, East Dundee and West Dundee have 7 concerts through the Park District that are planned every summer. And we have one, but it's in conjunction with our fireworks department. So I did want to talk to the board about it. There is a $600 charge for the concert. We get the one at the fireworks free because of all the in-kind work we do with our fire department and police department. So we'd only have to pay for 2. We'll get 3 like East Dundee and West Dundee do, but we'll only have to pay for 2. And I thought I'd pass this around. We can pass it back, but this was a page taken out of the summer brochure, and that's John goes late fall. He starts going and visiting these bands. He listens to them, and if he likes them, he books them, and they were very excited to hear that Carpentersville might be interested in having a couple of concerts in the park. So I hope the board will approve that. and work with them. I did talk to them also about other events that they might have, some of their runs that they have, a few other things, and I think the door is open there. I think they'd really like to finally work with Carpentersville and the park, so that'll be great. Then also, lastly, there'll be a short meeting on June 14th, 6:30, Public Works, and it's simply to go over last-minute details for the yard sale. There won't be anything else on the agenda. So we always have a quick meeting before, then we have our recon after. And that would conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Schultz. Paul, do you have anything?
Just the next Business Development Commission meeting will be on June 27th at 5 p.m. And we'll get a debrief on the Las Vegas trip that our assistant village manager attended with Retail Strategies. And I'm assuming Mr. Gupta was approved, so welcome him to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Burway?
Excuse me, that cough was for Ginger. Commission reports Jelkes Creek Fox River Watershed Coalition met yesterday, where we discussed what I talked about a little bit there, and they also made mention of the signs that we put up around town. I guess there's one on 31 now, and you'll see them along Maple there and various areas in the village. I believe we got them all installed except the ones by Washington, since that's going to be under construction over there by the river. They look great. Thank you, Public Works, for doing such a fantastic job with that. Appreciate it. They send their appreciation too. And we also discussed more signs for other areas around the in the watershed, which includes Algonquin, as far south as Elgin, east and west Dundee, that they're all included in the watershed. So we'll reach out to them and see if they can get their signs put up too, and kind of make it look continuous, continuity there with the signs, since the signs are from the county. Also, we got a newsletter coming out, and I added a couple of names to our mailing list for the Jelkes Creek newsletter. President Skillman, I added your name to that, and Jeff, I added your name to that list too. The process being that perhaps we could get a little blurb in our newsletter, in the Carpentersville newsletter on it, and so you could probably get it from that. And then we talked about a few of other things. I did mention what was passed, or what we're going to discuss later about the phosphorus thing that we're going to have to install at the Public Works. That is to bring phosphorus levels down to the IEPA requirements that are coming. It's a big ticket item, but it's necessary to make our water cleaner. And all the villages along the river are going to have to basically adhere to these rules or they'll lose their permits. So we'll talk about that later under new business, and you can see why that it's so important to keep our water safe, keep our water clean, and that's the biggest thing right now. As far as C4, the opioid overdose substance abuse program that we've started, our next meeting is June 8th at 7 o'clock at the Public Works, and I invite everybody to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Burway. Trustee Rayberg.
The next audit and finance meeting will be on Tuesday, June 27th at 6:30 in the Public Works building. There will be a couple big presentations, so I urge all of the stakeholders in the community to attend. The first thing will be our audit presentation for fiscal year 2016. So that is when the auditors present their findings. They go through and give us the highlights, the executive summary, if you will, so it doesn't get so far into the weeds that a resident couldn't understand it. In fact, you learn quite a bit about what we're doing, what our policies are, just from hearing the review at the audit level. We also learn about any audit deficiencies, anything that we need to address in the coming year. It's well worth your time to attend that. We're also going to get a presentation on the water and sewer rate study. So we'll be learning quite a bit about that. A lot of that will be based on comparables with other communities, so we'll see kind of where we are there. And then we'll also take the pulse of the room, residents and stakeholders included. Everyone gets a say at the audit and finance meeting when they have questions or concerns, and see what type of policy the Audit and Finance Commission wants to adopt or continue moving forward with our water and sewer rates. There will also be a parks update, an update on our NICOR agreement, which we're kind of doing a little differently than we have in the past, hopefully to our benefit. And then we'll also be discussing the Walmart TIF and an update with that. So not a huge agenda, but the things that are on there will be discussed at length, and there'll be a lot of great details there. So looking forward to it.
Don't scare people away. All right, thank you, Trustee Rayberg. Any old business, Kelly?
None.
None, okay. New business. Item A, an ordinance approving an easement agreement for South Washington Street, Spring Street Culvert Improvement Project. Do we have a motion?
I'll motion to pass this.
I'll second.
Motion, Paul, second. Jeffrey. Sorry. Motion carries.
No,
we got to vote.
Oh, sorry. I'd like to introduce Kevin Gray, again, Village President Skillman, to just give a little background on this item before you take a vote on it. Maybe answer any questions for the public, too. If you would, Kevin.
Correct. During the Phase 1 and Phase 2 engineering agreement with H.R. Green for Washington and Spring Street culvert replacement, it became apparent that west of Washington Street along Carpenter Creek needed to be widened in order to reduce the existing floodplain in that location. It was also apparent that that area is entirely located on private property. Hence, the village had to negotiate with 3 property owners permanent and temporary easement agreements in order for the project to proceed. Staff negotiated with all 3 property owners. They were all amenable to signing the agreements at no cost to the village. So basically this ordinance will just allow the village manager to execute all 3 of the easement agreements. And once that's approved, we'll take it down to, or actually the village clerk will take it down to Kane County Recorder's office and get these easement agreements recorded.
And the other key thing, after its construction's completed, we'll look for a map revision and possibly move some other properties out of the floodplain.
Correct. Similar to what I just talked about for Carpenter Creek, or for Carpenter Creek along Brook, north of Maple.
Excellent. Okay, any questions, anybody? We have a motion and second. A roll call, please.
Trustee Burroway,
Yes.
Trustee Humper,
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence,
Yes.
Trustee Rayberg,
Yes.
Trustee Savi,
Yes.
Trustee Schultz.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Second item, item B, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Forest Preserve of Kane County accepting the easement agreement for certain construction improvements associated with the Washington and Spring Street Culvert Replacement Project. Kevin.
Thank you, President Skillman.
I'll motion to pass this.
I'll second.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
For the same reason that I just spoke about, for the other 3 easement agreements, one of the properties is actually the Fox River Bike Trail, which is owned by the Kane County Forest Preserve District. They have a pedestrian bridge that goes over Carpenter Creek. We realized that that bridge needed to be replaced and the creek widened. So staff met with representatives of the county. We negotiated the IGA with them, and one of the big things is that well, there's actually four main things that we negotiated with the county. The King County Forest Reserve was going to donate a 8-foot by 45-foot pedestrian bridge to the village. The village will construct the concrete piers, so that was at no cost to the village. Basically, it's I believe it's one of the old pedestrian bridges that went over the Fox River beneath I-90. So they took that down. It's actually sitting over at Bruner Forest Reserve, and they were able to donate that to the village of Carpentersville.
Where's it going, Kevin?
It's right west of Washington, along the creek, Carpenter Creek,
Okay.
west of the Washington Street culvert.
It's in the normal bike path. We're not changing the course of the bike path's not changing, just the bridge.
Oh, okay, okay.
Correct. As part of the agreement, there's actually another old railroad spur bridge that we are actually going to use that to relocate the bike path while we install the new bridge, and then relocate the path back to its original location. So they also will provide us temporary construction easements to complete the improvements. Another thing is that, of course, we're the lead agency for the project. And last but not least, which I already talked about, that we'll relocate the bike trail back to its original location.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, any more discussion? Questions? Have a roll call, please.
Trustee Schultz?
Yes.
Trustee Savi?
Yes.
Trustee Rayberg?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee Humper?
Yes.
Trustee Burway?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item C, special event permit application for fee waiver request for the Civil War reenactment. Is there any discussion?
Motion to approve.
Motion, I'm sorry. Motion
I'll
approved.
second.
Second.
Am I able to ask a question?
Yes.
The only concern I have is the new sod that's been put down. I know that takes about 8 months to set in. So I'm a little nervous that we're going to have to replace sod after the Civil War enactment.
And
Okay,
I would,
So we didn't sod it, right?
if we could address that in the
Same concern,
full
but-
presentation.
For the
you're gonna-
seating.
They will be responsible for fixing it as they were even last year. But Bob, if you would kind of give that overview, because there's other concerns along those lines.
Yeah, we're just coming before you tonight to ask for approval to waive the special event permit fee as well as other fees related to the Civil War reenactment. Total cost is to the village would be about $150. This event primarily takes place on the south end of Carpenter Park. A majority of the reseeding has occurred on the north end of the park. We are in the process of watering the seed on the north end, and we think that we're going to have pretty good coverage of turf by August. So the Civil War reenactors last year, when there was any damage done to any of the turf, they were very good at coming out and replacing or repairing any of the damaged areas.
Some of them are landscapers, so they sent them out, Diane, to repair. They do that at every event that they're at.
Awesome.
Afterwards, they return the park the way they found it, they said. So,
Any other discussion or questions?
I just had one question on this. Do we receive any noise complaints because of the cannons last year, or did people pretty much understand?
I think there's always one or two
Yeah,
down.
right, yeah.
There were complaints about the fireworks display.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, there's always one
Yeah.
or two, because they have frightened dogs, the dogs are
Right.
afraid of thunderstorm. I had a
Right.
dog like that. But, I mean, I think that was it. It was pretty minimal. So
Yeah.
most of the folks
If I remember-
around the park loved it. Yeah.
if I remember correctly, it was pretty minimal.
Yeah.
Okay.
We indicated them and they took it back.
That's all.
Any other questions?
The footprint for the Civil War reenactment is going to be much larger than the last one, right? We're going to have many more participants. Is that the plan?
Well, Bob and I met with them, and as some of the board members know, They did a network survey last year. That's why they came later. Manuka, Illinois has it every year. It's the largest one, and they have a large crowd, and we came in second for a first-time event amongst those, and he now has 6 units, I think he said, from Wisconsin that have heard about it, and as far away as Green Bay or something like that, he said, that want to come down, plus the people that are in Illinois, and so it's, the word got out. There was no doubt about it, and they they would like to do some things with their Civil War boats, if they could, which he told us if they can get permission to do that, it would start bringing units and their families up from as far away as Tennessee and Alabama.
Yep.
So it's a network like Camber, you know, the mountain bike people. If you're into it, you're all tied into all that stuff, and that's how this is, you know. So yeah, I think we're going to see more there, you know, as far, so more reenactors and more families, and word gets out. So they're really focused on it. So
Good. Yeah, that's a
And
good sign.
if I can
Yeah.
piggyback on that, the reenactors had told us that the battlefield will be about the same size as it was last year, that there's plenty of room there to include additional warriors.
And
whatever you
on the
wanna call
south end of the park.
On the
Now,
south
did-
end of the
Majority.
park,
Did they have Frisbee golf in the Civil War? Will we be able to incorporate that into the plan? Or?
yeah. That is planned for this year.
Good, good. All right. Good.
Okay.
and
Yeah,
you
don't
know.
worry. We'll be on. Okay, good.
These guys come in the middle of winter and look at the park. So
Timber
they're,
wave.
yeah, they're quite familiar. They know already what's been going on, Kevin. Kevin, as far as what they need, they've been down at that park watching it since winter. So they were just there after the meeting. They went back down. So they know what's going on. They can see where they're going to put things, and you know, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Bob. Director Cole, are you staying for the next one?
You're all
Great.
right.
Okay, so we have a motion to waive the fees. All in favor, say
Aye.
Aye.
thank you. Motion passes. Okay. Next item, special event permit application, waive fee waiver request for Dundee Township Park District fireworks. So, can I have a motion,
A motion to
please?
pass this?
Paul,
Second.
Pat, and we have a discussion
Do it.
about the fireworks.
Staff is recommending that the fees are waived for the special permit and approved street closures as noted in the board report for the Dundee Township Park District fireworks show to be produced on June 24th, Saturday, June 24th, with a rain date of Sunday, June 25th. There will be a concert between the hours of 7:30 and 9 p.m. The road closures, as noted, is Ball Avenue west of Walmart from 7:30 till end of the show. And then Biesinger, just directly in front of Village Hall here from 9:30 to the end of the show. When the show format is identical to last year, however, there's more shots going to be. They're telling me about 1,800 shots, which would be a fantastic show for this area. So that's the board or the staff recommendation.
And when you say shots, you're talking about
Individual
the fireworks, not the Civil War cannon.
Sorry, that's pyrotechnic talks, I guess. Yeah. That's what they told me. 1,800 shots. 1,800 individual fireworks. Nothing any larger than the 5-inch that they used last year.
Yeah, if I could just say, they invited the Civil War guys to bring the cannons again. They want them to shoot off every hour on the hour, like they did, and those guys were so impressed. Now, and they spread the word about how fantastic that show was. It was all over Facebook. It was an amazing show, and they got more people that want to come just to come see our fireworks. But I was told, too, by the Park District that it's going to be another phenomenal show like last year. And it really was great. So.
Still McNamee doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Local boy doing it, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grew up in Carpentersville. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table for waiving the fee for the fireworks show. Another voice, please. Voice call.
Aye.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay, item E, a resolution accepting a bid for Independent Mechanical Industries in the amount not to exceed $358,795 for the construction of the chemical feed system for the purpose of phosphorus removal from the wastewater facility discharge. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion by Trustee Schultz and a second by Trustee Burraway, and we have a discussion from Mr. Cole.
One of the permit requirements that the village has to discharge its treated wastewater into the Fox River is that we were to have a feasibility study done to determine the most effective and efficient way to remove phosphorus from our discharge stream. Back in 2015, we commissioned Strand Engineering to do this study, and they determined that the best way to remove the phosphorus was by chemically feeding a ferric chloride to the stream. This allowed coagulation of the phosphorus and made it easier to remove through the dewatering process. Back in 2016, we did commission EEI, that's Engineering Enterprise, Inc., from Sugar Grove to design the project for us. Once it was designed, they developed bid documents. We went out to bid. There were, I believe, two or three submitted bids for the project. 3 did, and Independent Mechanical Industries, they did submit the low bid at $358,795. Their references have been checked out and are all favorable. Any questions?
This was originally a mandate, though, wasn't it, Bob?
Yes, it's
yeah,
a
just
requirement
so people know.
of our
It's nothing we're
permit.
doing on a whim. It was a mandate that we
Right.
had to do, get rid of it all. So,
Right.
okay.
Are we getting any funding from the EPA to assist us in?
No.
So this will come all through the enterprise fund and potentially increases in water rates over this?
Yes, sir. Unfunded mandate.
An unfunded mandate, yeah, exactly.
And did this have to do with the situation down at the Gulf of Mexico? Is this what we heard about, I think, during the Audit and Finance Commission discussion on this? And as I recall, I don't know, there's too much foam there or something along that line.
But it helps promote algae bloom, which kills aquatic
dies,
life.
yeah.
It's all oxygen.
Pulls all the oxygen, yep.
Thank you.
Trustee Burway?
As spoken before, I talked to Jelky's Creek about this, and it is like an unfunded mandate, that we're just getting orders that we have to be at these levels. I forget when the date is we have to, but everybody's going through this, all the towns up and down the street, so, yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, but the mandate is there, and the Fox River Study Group was a big integral part of this too, wasn't it, Bob?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they are the ones that came up with the levels that we have to reach with, and then the IEPA then adopted those levels. So that's where it all comes from. Something we have to do. I don't see a way around it. Otherwise our permit would not be valid then, would it?
Would not.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Are private landowners along the Fox River, do they have a similar mandate in the amount of phosphorus that they can, that is allowed to run off into the Fox River?
This is for
Fertilizer?
wastewater. This is for wastewater.
No, I know this is for wastewater, but phosphorus also
Right.
enters the Fox River via fertilizer that private residences use, and the Fox
Absolutely.
River is
Farmers
owned
too,
from
with
tip to tail.
watering their crops.
Farmers, yeah, it seems like this could be a situation where we fall into compliance and it doesn't really do anything to the phosphorus levels of the Fox River because our contribution to the Fox River is so minimal compared to all of the private landowners. And one heavy storm in the spring when people are applying fertilizer or when farmers are, and it will negate a third of $1 million investment that we've made. So I guess what I'm getting at is I'm not happy about this unfunded mandate whatsoever.
My understanding, I'm not an expert in these environmental law matters. My understanding is that the permit is applicable because of the village's conduct, and that other landowners, if they engage in similar activities, they're also subject to the same type of laws. The extent to which other entities in Carpentersville might be subject to it and whether they're complying, I can't speak to that. But our understanding, staff's and consultants' understanding is this does apply to the village.
Yeah, no, I understand, fully. I'm just kind of pointing out the glaring loophole in this entire endeavor.
The unfunded mandate.
Well, yeah, that's part of it, and then the
Absolutely.
fact that there's still going to be phosphorus pouring into the Fox River.
The loophole is the IEPA.
Okay. Okay, thank you, guys. We have a motion and a second on item E. I need a roll call on this, Kelly, please.
Sure. Can I have Trustee Burroway?
Yes.
Trustee Humfer?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee Rayberg?
Yes.
Trustee Sabi?
Yes.
And Trustee Schultz?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Item F, a resolution waiving the bid requirements and accepting a proposal from Jensen's Plumbing and Heating for the replacement of 2 rooftop heating, ventilation, air conditioning units in the amount not to exceed $116,809.
A motion to pass.
Motion by Trustee Humfer, second
I'll second.
by Trustee Burroway, and we'll have a discussion.
On May 16th, the Village Board approved the contract with Morgan Harbor to do an evaluation of the building's mechanical systems. One of those mechanical systems was the HVAC units located on top of the Village Hall roof. In conjunction now with the roof program, or with the roof replacement program that you approved a week or two ago, the consultant recommends that we replace the 2 HVAC units top of the roof. They are probably have an average age of about 8 years. The life expectancy of those units are probably 12 to 15 years in length. One of the reasons why we do want to replace those is primarily because we have to plan for the future. Currently, one of those units are electric, the other is natural gas. We want to replace them and have 2 natural gas units. Of course, natural gas is a lot more efficient to run than electric units. In addition, we want to do some piping when we convert over the HVAC system or the plumbing system downstairs that would allow us to use hot water to heat that second floor. Much more efficient to do so by doing that. One of the other reasons is that we kind of reduce the electrical footprint of the building. One of the studies that they're going to be conducting is on the generator. By reducing that electrical footprint, the power that it takes to run those units, we can probably get a much smaller generator that would save us money as well. Now, normally for a project of this size, we do go out for bid on it. However, because of the need to get that roof done before September, we chose to waive the bidding process. We did send out sealed documents out to 4 contractors, and they provide us a sealed bid. So we did everything like you would for a sealed bid process, other than advertise for it. We had a formal bid opening, and the bids were open, and the Jensen Heating out of Woodstock, they were low bid at $116,809. Their references were checked and are favorable.
So Morgan Harbor was happy with that price, or was that a contract, or
Morgan Harbor didn't
budget?
have anything to do with going out for bid on this. This was all through the village.
But they're the general
through our
contractor,
efforts.
correct?
They are our consultants, correct.
Consultants.
We felt pretty comfortable with the bids because they were only about $2,900 apart, and that's pretty tight bidding.
Yeah, Morgan Harbor emphasized the point of the natural gas versus
Correct.
the electric. That's what
Recommended.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, just a quick one. Bob, is there going to be a big disruption in service here, or?
We'll be
Village Hall?
without air conditioning for a week or so.
Oh, that's all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. But I mean, a week isn't bad. Yeah.
Not bad for you.
Well, yeah, yeah, I'm sorry.
Eric
For
is
those folks
optimistic.
here,
I'm a
I'm
little
sorry,
bit
working here.
conservative.
Yeah, it could be hot, yeah.
Make it 2 weeks.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
What's the age of the current system that's up there?
Pardon me?
What is the age of the current system that's up there?
One of the units is 8 years old, and I believe the second one is 6 years old.
And we're not able to use them any longer? They're not working?
Eric.
Eric, you're going to have to come up. I'm sorry.
Come on up.
We all can hear you, but the folks at home will not be able to hear.
Thanks, Eric.
So the current system we have one gas, one electric. The electric is not very efficient. You hardly ever see that put in nowadays. The gas unit, we want to upgrade that one in addition, just so that in the future we can build a pond system. So like right now, we're trying to do the whole second floor, multiple rooms, hallways, with very limited control. So right now we have one unit that services a bunch of offices, so if one office is hot, they're all hot. If one wants to be cool, they're all cool. So upgrading these units will give us the ability down the road to have more zone control. So the units that we have now don't have the ability to have zone control, and that's huge to have, to individually warm and cool each office as needed. So that's why we want to replace both units to set up for the future. Otherwise, in 2 years, we could be like, okay, we need to upgrade that now. Now our new curbs and roofing don't match up to that. So we're just trying to, do it with an approach that makes sense long term.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also part of this project would be to reallocate some of the electric that's currently being used for the electric rooftops, so that in the future we'd have more power to possibly send to the IT server room, which is getting kind of maxed out right now. So what we want to do is try and make it so that the future possible generator that we're looking at would be able to function a little bit easier, and then reposition some of that power towards other equipment that, as we upgrade it in the future, is going to need to be resized and reconfigured.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Eric.
Thank
Director
you.
Cole, anything else? So we approved a roof, I believe, was it last month?
Sir. Yes.
So that's going to be done together?
They'll be done together.
Okay.
There's a lot of coordination that needs to be done between
So
the
that'll
two
be,
projects.
okay. Excellent, thank you. All right, so we do have a motion on the table and a second on item F. Any more questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Savi?
Yes.
Trustee Schultz?
Yes.
Trustee Burroway?
Yes.
Trustee Humper?
Yes.
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes.
Trustee Rayberg?
Yes.
Okay, great, motion carries. We're done with new business. Kelly, you happy? Yeah, yes. Trustee reports, please. Trustee Humper.
I don't have a report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Humper. Trustee Lawrence.
Something I am looking into. I'm looking into something for 2018. I spoke with a local theater owner. We're working out the logistics, but he basically does Brett Michaels, Rick Springfield, Pat Benatar, Gypsy Kings, Cool and the Gang. So I am looking into seeing what we can do to bring him out to Carpentersville next year.
Great. Cool. That'll help. That'll help Rock on the Fox.
Yeah.
Blow it away.
Cool in the game.
Is that it? I'm
That's
sorry.
it.
Sounds good. Okay, Trustee Schultz.
Just want to remind everyone again, fireworks on the 24th. So the yard sale's 9 to 4. Fireworks will be later on, starting in the afternoon. And in between that time, at 5 p.m., we will be down at Keith Andres Park for a rededication. I think the entryway will be done off of Sacramento. So I'd invite everybody to come down and see it. Should be really great. And I wanted to mention, too, Pastor Ball, his Foxview kickoff, the summer celebration, is June 9th, and that's at 6 p.m., and that's down at Foxview. So, and that will conclude my report.
Thank you, Trustee Schultz. And if we can get that out, Mr. IT guy, Kevin, we really need to get some of this information out to the people. I mean, Pat has a lot of good information for us, but we're just not getting it out there. I mean, if we need to boost it or whatever we need to do, but we need to get it out to get people out. So.
And we'll work with the press release to get that
Yeah,
to the newspaper.
That'd be great. Thank you. Trustee Rayberg.
Just a few things. I wanted to acknowledge that today is the 73rd anniversary of D-Day. pivotal moment in the history of the United States, and always a day that that myself and my family always commemorate. Also wanted to extend a thank you to Mr. Gupta for joining the Business Development Commission. Based on your resume, it seems like you're a great get for the commission, so we're really looking forward to hearing your input and building off of it and capitalizing on it. And then I also wanted to add a shout out to Kevin Gray. I was speaking to a neighbor a couple weeks ago, and he had nothing but great things to say about Kevin's work. He had some observations about the tree replacement program, some suggestions there, and he had mentioned that he had some dealings with Public Works, and he didn't know that I was a trustee, so he just, you know who really does a great job at Public Works? This guy named Kevin Gray does an excellent job. So it was great to hear that. And then I'm also, along the lines of Diane saying kind of what we're working on, I'm also working with someone in East Dundee and hopefully someone in West Dundee, and I think this is actually might be news to Kevin Goethel, but see if maybe we could do a group discount for our video or for our online live streaming of our meetings. I think there's some interest in both communities, and that might buy us a little extra purchase power, so I'm going to be investigating that a little bit further with Kevin Goethel's help, of course.
Thank you, Kevin.
It's interesting you mentioned D-Day because it's also my parents' anniversary, and we always tease them about they're married on D-Day. So happy anniversary to my parents. But I wanted to say the playground is open. Everybody's been talking. It seems like that's the thing I got asked about for the last 2 years. Or when's the playground open? When's the playground open? So it is open. I took my daughter down there the other day. It's very nice. It seems like it's packed every time I drive by. There's a lot of kids out there. So go down to the park and enjoy the new playground. And then I also wanted to say thank you to Bob Cole. He gave me a tour the other day of all of our water facilities. We went to the wastewater treatment plant and to the where they make our water as well. Well, not make it, but clean it and send it out to everybody. And just so you know, if you go to the wastewater treatment plant, they will give you a full-on tour, and they will talk and talk and talk, because I don't think they get a lot of visitors over there. So they're happy to show you every bit of it. But so thanks to Bob Cole for giving me the tour of the village, and that's it. Thank you.
Trustee Burway.
Thanks for the reminder on D-Day. I appreciate that, Kevin. As my father was there, I know where he was so many years ago. But I have a question for Pat. Has Slide the City contacted us?
I reached out to them. It took me a better part of 2 months to get a response.
Okay.
And they said that they did not make the profit they were hoping for. They did make some, but not what they were hoping, and they were really talking a lot of money and wanted us to guarantee sales of at least 1,000 tickets. So I don't think they were looking to come back. They admitted that Maple Avenue was one of the best venues they had, but it took a long time to connect with them, to be honest with you. I did try, Don. I really did.
I was just curious if we'd heard anything.
Yeah.
So he doesn't update on that.
Yeah.
Really, I don't have much more. I just got back from vacation, so I'm trying to catch up a little bit here with all our all the goings on so far. But anyways, the park is looking good. Yes, people are using it right and left, because I live right by the park and I'm able to observe it, and it's being utilized quite a bit. Also, I like the bike path that goes around through the park, and walking. I've seen a lot of people out there walking, and it connects with the Maple Avenue, so you can walk or bike a lot in this town, and I think that was one of our goals, to kind of have a biking area for everybody. So anyways, good to be back from vacation and getting back into the village business. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have no report tonight. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit for a second about police and fire department. We had a rough couple weeks here in town, as everybody knows about our couple calls. But Friday night we did have resident that went into the river, and the Algonquin Fire Department and Carpentersville and many other departments worked hard on that for a couple days. So thank you guys out there. Thank you very much for your work. It was tough, I know, and on many of those. So so that's all I have. But remember those guys at night. You know, remember the families that we lost. We lost 3 residents in the last couple weeks. Young people. So.
Mr. President, one more thing I forgot to mention. I did want to mention that there was a gas leak. It was ammonia today in Streamwood, and our fire department actually went and helped, and I think a couple of our guys who were off duty, who are hazmat people, went and actually got the leak shut off. So thank you to them, and we appreciate all your hard work. Thank you.
About that. Yes.
Yeah, I guess they transported 2 firefighters, and 7 people were injured, workers, so I'm not really sure. Hopefully none of our people. So all good, thank you. So anyways, I need a motion for closed session for 2C1, 2C2, 2C5, and 2C11.
A motion.
I'll second.
Of the Open Meeting Act, I'm sorry. Motion, Trustee Sabi?
Yep.
Second, Trustee Rayberg. Can I have roll call, please?
Trustee Lawrence?
Yes. Yep.
Trustee Rayberg?
Yes.
Trustee Sabi?
Yes.
Trustee Schultz?
Yes.
Trustee Burraway?
Yes.
Trustee Humper?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. We're going to move to, but before that, I want to just say that after our closed session, we will be having a meeting of the whole also, so just so everybody's aware of that. Okay, thank you.